what nobody talks about? The moment you realize your childhood wasn't normal. Not a dramatic movie moment, just a quiet Tuesday. You're washing dishes or sitting in traffic, and something small happens. Someone raises their voice or a door slams, and suddenly you're not 32 years old anymore. You're 7, and you don't know why. If that's ever happened to you, stay with us, because today we're going to talk about it, honestly, gently, and in English.
Welcome back to Easy English Space. I'm Henry.
And I'm Julia. Whether this is your first time joining us or you've been with us for a while, thank you. Come in, sit down, get comfortable. Today's conversation is a little different. It's a little deeper, but we think it's going to matter to you.
Yeah, today we're talking about childhood trauma. And I know, that phrase can feel heavy, clinical, like something only therapists say in quiet offices. But we're going to talk about it the way real people talk about it. Simply, honestly, in everyday English you can actually use.
And just so you know, we're not doctors, we're not therapists, we're your English teachers. But sometimes the best English lessons come from the most human topics, right?
Exactly. So first, let's make sure we understand the words. Trauma. Trauma. In English, we say trauma. It means a painful experience that leaves a deep mark on your mind or heart. Not just a bad day, something that stays.
And childhood trauma, that means painful things that happened when you were young. Maybe your parents fought a lot. Maybe someone hurt you. Maybe you felt alone or scared or like you didn't belong. Maybe no one said, "I love you" enough. These things, they don't just disappear when you grow up.
No, they follow you, quietly, into your relationships, your fears, the way you talk to yourself in your head. And the sad thing is, a lot of people don't even know it's happening. They just feel off, like something is wrong, but they can't name it.
Okay, quick question for our listeners. Have you ever had a moment, maybe recently, where you reacted to something small, but your reaction felt too big, too emotional? Like something simple made you really angry or really sad, or you just shut down completely? If yes, write yes in the comments. You don't have to explain anything, just yes.
Because that reaction, that's often a sign that something older is speaking. Not the adult you, the younger you, the one who learned to feel unsafe or unheard or unloved.
Julia, can I tell a small story here?
Please.
So I had a student once, let's call her Mia. Mia was brilliant, funny, warm, worked so hard, but every time I gave her feedback, even gentle feedback like, "Hey, try saying it this way," she would go completely silent. Her whole body would change. She'd apologize over and over. Sorry, I'm so stupid." And I thought, this isn't about English. This is something much older than English.
Yeah, that kind of response, shutting down, over-apologizing, calling yourself stupid, that's often learned. Someone taught her that mistakes meant she was bad. Not that the mistake was bad, she was bad.
And that's the difference, right? A healthy childhood teaches you, you made a mistake, let's fix it. An unhealthy one teaches you, you are a mistake. And those two things, they grow into very different adults.
So, let's talk about what childhood trauma actually looks like in adult life. Because a lot of people think trauma means you remember something terrible, like a specific event. But sometimes it's quieter than that.
Right. Sometimes it looks like this. You're a people pleaser. You say yes when you mean no. You're terrified of conflict. You'll do anything to avoid someone being angry at you.
Or maybe you find it hard to trust people, even people who've never hurt you. You're always waiting for them to leave or to show their real side. You keep people at a distance just in case.
Or, and this one is hard to say out loud, maybe you sabotage good things, a good relationship, a good job opportunity, and you don't know why. It's like a part of you doesn't believe you deserve good things.
Yeah, that one hits hard. I think a lot of people feel that, and they're ashamed of it. Like, why am I like this? Why can't I just be happy? But it's not weakness. It's a wound that was never treated.
Okay, let's do a tiny English practice moment here, because we are still your English teachers. Repeat this phrase after us. Ready?
Say it out loud. Don't be shy. It's not my fault. I was just a child.
One more time. It's not my fault. I was just a child.
Say that sentence. Really say it. Because it's not just an English phrase. It's true. Whatever happened to you when you were small, you did not choose it. You did not cause it. You were just a child.
Now, the big question. Can you heal from childhood trauma? And I want to answer this carefully because I think there's a lot of bad advice out there.
There really is. And I think the worst advice is just move on. Just forget about it. You're an adult now. It was a long time ago.
Oh, that one makes me so frustrated. You can't just move on from something your nervous system still believes is happening. Your body doesn't know it was 20 years ago. When something triggers you, your body responds like it's right now, like the danger is real right now.
So step one, and this sounds simple, but it's actually really powerful, is awareness. Just noticing. Oh, I just had a really big reaction to something small. That's interesting. I wonder where that comes from.
Not judging yourself, not saying, ugh, I'm so broken. Just noticing, like a scientist watching something through a glass. Look at that.
Because judgment keeps you stuck. Curiosity moves you forward.
Oh, I love that. Write that down, listeners. Judgment keeps you stuck. Curiosity moves you forward.
Step 2, and this one's important, is connection. Real connection. Trauma often happens in relationship. Someone hurt you, ignored you, scared you. And healing also happens in relationship. With safe people. With a good therapist if you can access one. With honest friends. With communities where you feel seen.
And that's actually one of the things I love about this community, Easy English Space. Because our listeners, you guys, you come from so many different countries, different backgrounds, and yet here we are, all together, learning and sharing. That's connection. That matters.
Step 3 is, and I want to say this in simple English because it's sometimes overcomplicated, feeling your feelings. Not performing them, not explaining them, actually feeling them.
That sounds easy. It's not easy.
It's not easy at all. A lot of us, especially those of us who grew up in difficult homes, we learned to either explode with feelings or shut them down completely. Neither one is actually feeling them.
Actually feeling them is sitting with the discomfort, letting it be there, not running to your phone, not eating something, not getting busy, just being with it for a few minutes.
And you know what happens when you do that? Slowly, it passes. Not immediately, but it passes. Feelings are like waves. They come, they peak, they go, but only if you let them move through you.
Okay, here's a question for the comments. What do you usually do when you feel a big, uncomfortable emotion? Do you distract yourself? Do you talk to someone? Do you shut down? Write it in the comments. No wrong answers. We're genuinely curious.
Step 4, and this is something I find fascinating, is changing the story you tell about yourself. Because trauma doesn't just leave memories, it leaves a narrative, a story. And often that story sounds like, I am not enough, I am too much, I am broken, I am unlovable.
And you've been telling yourself that story for so long, it feels like fact. Not a story, fact.
But it's not fact. It's a conclusion a very young child made with very little information in a very scary situation. And that child did the best they could, but you're not that child anymore.
So what do? You start, gently, slowly, telling a different story. Not a fake one, not
everything is perfect and I'm amazing, just a more honest one. I went through something hard. I survived it. I am still learning. I am more than what happened to me.
Say that with us. One more practice line. I am more than what happened to me.
Say it again. I am more than what happened to me. Keep that one. Use it.
Now, I want to talk about one more thing, because I think it's often missed in these conversations, and that's grief.
Oh, yeah.
Healing from childhood trauma involves grieving the childhood you deserved but didn't get, the parent who should have protected you but didn't, the version of yourself that grew up without fear. You have to grieve that.
And that's one of the saddest parts, honestly, because you're grieving something that never existed. It wasn't taken from you, it just never was. And that kind of grief is strange. It's quiet. It sneaks up on you.
Yeah, but when you let yourself grieve it, something interesting happens. You stop being angry at yourself for being like this. You start having compassion for yourself, and compassion is where healing begins.
Henry, that was really beautiful. Are you okay over there?
Yeah, I'm okay. This topic it matters to me, personally. I think it matters to a lot of people who'd never say so out loud.
I think you're right. And if you're listening right now and you felt something during this episode, a little emotion, a little recognition, a little, wait, that's me? That's not weakness. That's awareness. And awareness is the beginning.
All right, let's bring it back to English for a moment, because we want to make sure you leave today with some real language you can use, some phrases in real conversations.
If you want to talk about your feelings in English, you can say, I've been struggling with something lately. That's a gentle way to open up.
Or, I think some of this comes from my past. Simple, clear. You don't have to explain everything.
Or even, I'm working on myself. That phrase, working on myself, it's honest, it's brave, and native speakers use it all the time.
And if a friend shares something hard with you and you want to respond well, you can say, that sounds really hard. I'm glad you told me. That's enough. You don't need to fix anything. Just witnessing someone is powerful.
Repeat that one. That sounds really hard. I'm glad you told me.
Great. Use that. It's one of the most human things you can say in English.
Okay, we are getting close to the end, and I just want to say, if any part of today felt personal, please be gentle with yourself. This stuff is not easy. Healing is not a straight line. Some days you'll feel like you've moved so far forward, and then something small will happen and you'll feel like you're back at the beginning.
But you're not back at the beginning. You just have more information now, and that matters.
It really does. And hey, if this episode helped you even a little bit and you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It genuinely helps us reach more people who might need this kind of conversation.
For today's homework, and it's a gentle one, no pressure, write one sentence in the comments. Just one. It can be, I am working on, and then finish it. Whatever feels true for you today. I am working on trusting people. I am working on being kinder to myself. Whatever it is, one sentence. We'll read them.
And one more comment question before you go. What's one thing from today that you want to remember? Just one thing. Write it below.
Next episode, we're going to talk about something equally powerful, how to stop negative thinking and get into a state of flow. You know, that feeling when everything just clicks, you're focused, calm, creative, productive. We're going to talk about how to get there and how to stay there.
You don't want to miss that one. It connects directly to what we talked about today. So come back. We'll be here, waiting for you.
Take care of yourselves. Be patient with yourselves.
And we'll see you next time on Easy English Space.